Let us start off by discussing the 21 skills that could pay us forever and ensure that our certifications deliver certificate of performance to us. Our certification are those that we have, but our certificate of performance is the money. Money is the certificate of performance, if somebody may ask. And every one of us, we are not lacking, especially on the technical side of things. But what of other skills that enhance our technicality, our certification that we have already gotten? That is why we want to discuss and start off by 21 skills that will pay us for the rest of our lives. These skills are actually transferable. We can educate other people, we can learn it and transfer it to generation to come. So let us go on now and learn 21 skills and educate ourselves. I want us to know, first of all, that is important that this video is made in as a long haul. It's going to be one video. It may take us a while, but we are going to take our time rather, to do this. It is important for us to be comfortable as much as we had worked on ourselves to ensure we get those certifications. Now, how can they generate and produce results and give us certification of performance, which I call money? So that is what we are going to be going into. I will be putting it on our dashboard so that we can always reference it. And please don't rush out on this video, because we are all going to learn from it, as I myself am still learning from it. I'm opportuned when I started my career to have had an opportunity with somebody that gave me a book on a professor of Harvard documentary about negotiation. I started by understanding negotiation apart from being chartered accountant, and it will be the first soft skill I'm going to talk about. That's the ability to negotiate. Our ability to negotiate is very important. As professionals, it's very important that we are able to negotiate. I'm telling you, if you cannot negotiate, you are going to leave a lot of value, a lot of money on the table, and those monies ordinarily should have come to you. So skill for negotiation is very important. As we move on, if you are just joining us from GJAMES Associate Channel, my name is Gbenga Olatunji, FCA. We appreciate that you are just joining us for the first time, and returning viewers, we say thank you. We are loved that you go and subscribe and click the notification bell. Click all. Please click all. Let's go into the detail of the negotiation skill. In that Harvard review that I was opportune as earlier as possible in my career to read and digest, bankers, financiers that are actually dressing well, they are actually negotiating. It's a form of negotiation because they are actually projecting themselves the way they want to be received. Many of us, even in the area of dressing and the like, we just put on some mismatch. There is a skill of how to even put our suits together. There's a skill of which one jacket we go on, what stripe, on cube, on various forms of shirts. But all these skills, without learning it, the belt and our shoe, how they should match, and all these things, as much as they are soft skills, is important for us to know that we are actually negotiating, because we are projecting ourselves. That's why you cannot go into the banking hall and you see a banker dressed shabbily. No, it will not happen, because the MD of the bank will not tolerate it. The human resources manager of the bank will not tolerate it, because not because of the person or of the teller that is in front of the bank that is relating to the customer, but because the banks know that the tellers, the staff, they are actually projecting the organization and they are negotiating. So no one will want to keep his or her money where he already knows that the person may not have assumed that the person may not have the ability to keep it. And the person obviously may have the ability to keep the money and multiply the money and manage the money. But the person did not show up or show off himself or herself to be capable because of even the appearance. They said the way we appear is the way we will be. Then the second skill that I'm going to mention is the ability, our ability to convey to others our thoughts and how we feel, the ability to convey what we think and how we feel to others. You know what? The best radio presenters, they are not in radio stations. The best TV presenters, they are not in TV stations and TV employment. You know why? Because many of the time they are not opportune to be there. I'm telling you the truth that when we are talking about this skill, it will make you what you may not even be able to fathom when you have the ability to convince others, to convey your thoughts and to express your feeling is very important. The ability to convey what we think and what we feel, to coordinate our thoughts. Let me try and put something down. Think and feel. Think and feel. Ability for us to express the way we think and feel is very important. Ability to convey. When we speak expressly, it may be in form of writing, it may be in form of talking, just as I'm talking to us right about now. It's a skill. It's a skill, and every professional should have the skill. Apart from our technicality, we should be able to express our thoughts. We should be able to express our feelings to others. Also, ability to break things down into processes and smaller steps. Break things down into processes and smaller units. This helps us not to have to exaggerate our activity, what we want to do, but it ensures that we put things in perspective. It ensures that we put things in perspective and we build smaller units of system. Don't forget, especially for those of us that are entrepreneur on this platform or are accountants or chartered accountants to be, we know the importance of process and system. So when you have the ability and you develop your ability to have to build system, you cannot imagine what it can deliver to you. So the ability to process, to establish and to break down things into smaller units is a big deal. Is a big deal. Let me put something down so that we will not forget the ability to process. So develop the ability for processing, to process and break things down into smaller units. Break into smaller units. Please, like I said, this video may be a bit long, and you know we are going to take our time. We are going to take apart from the ability to break things down into smaller units and build processes around anything and everything we are doing, it is another important smaller skill that we need to develop, which is the ability to listen. When I say it's smaller skill, I do not mean that it's smaller in importance. I mean the ability to listen, which many of us do not pay attention to. We must be able to listen to others and learn from others. It's a privilege as I'm talking to you now, but you know what too? Me too, I listen to others. I listen to others. They say leaders are readers and leaders are learners. So the ability to learn, unlearn, and relearn is very important. Many times when some of our colleagues are talking to us in various offices, we interrupt because we want to express our feelings, our emotions, and express our view, which is very important based on what I just said previously. But you know what? There is time for everything. There is time for us to keep quiet. There is time for us to speak loud. There is time for us to make a real proclamation of what we understand and what we value. But there is equally a time to keep quiet and listen. And you know, those that listen most, they are those that develop themselves in active listening and active participation in a dialogue, in a communication. Of course, they end up becoming a good negotiator. But apart from that, a good listener is a problem solver. A good listener is a problem solver, which is one of the skills we are going to develop too and talk about, the ability to resolve issues. Before we can resolve issues, we must first of all understand them. And how are we going to understand them if we do not even know how and what they are? So we need to learn to listen. We need to learn to listen to others, accommodate others, understand their view, then we can resolve the issues. So I'm going to put that down now and we move forward. Another important skill that we need to develop is the ability to adapt to changes. Changes in the coming years will be constant. They said changes is the only constant thing in this planet Earth. So our ability to adapt, to adjust, and the ability to improvise, that is, be innovative, respond positively towards the change that has occurred in our lives, in our families, in our businesses, in our place of work, in our employment. Our ability to do this and to overcome obstacles. In life, there will be various obstacles. I want to believe that you agree with me 100%. As professionals, there are going to be obstacles on our ways, some that we prepare for, some that we anticipate, but many that we do not anticipate. You know one thing about obstacles. Obstacles actually lead us rather to our destination. If we actually adapt, if we take them on and we move on like a mountain, it's either we blast through them, it's either we walk over them, or it's either we walk under them. The most important thing is that we come out victoriously at the other end, at the other side. So the ability to adapt, the ability to improvise, that is, make a solution, make a way for you, for yourself, even in the midst of such an obstacle, and the ability to overcome is a great deal. The ability to adapt, which I just put on the platform on the board. Also, I put on the board ability to read, understand, and memorize. Please don't go yet, but I know how to read. I'm literate. The truth of the matter is this: many professionals are not good readers, and now I'm not talking about reading books. Of course, many of us don't read again after we become shattered, for those of us that are chartered accountants. But much more than that, the ability to read with speed. See, in the universities before, which I was opportune to read a book by virtue of coming from the background of printing industry that my dad happened to be, I was able to read a book that was published by Bafemi University, which we call OAU now. That's the University of Ife. And you know what? It's a big book for an undergraduate that they must have, which I laid my hand on then. You know what? It's about how to speed read. It's about how to read very fast and move, especially for those of us that are students. It's important for us to be able to read fast. For those of us that are studying for chartered accountancy all over the world, we must be able to read very fast. You know, our books, our textbooks are numerous and voluminous. Those books nowadays are not available to us, including myself when I was in university. But it's a book that every undergraduate should have to learn how to read fast or speed read is a skill on its own. Then having read the comprehension side of it, do we understand what we've read? That memo that came to our table, do we understand the message is trying to pass across? We need to have that skill to understand the message behind the letters that we've read. And equally, the memorization, especially for those that are presenting for the marketers, is very important that we are able to memorize. And this is one of the skills that those that are in my field now, apart from being a chartered accountant, the skill to memorize is very important to be able to present as I'm presenting to you, to marshal some of my points apart from scripting it out. We need to be able to memorize. Likewise, us, for excellence in our professional life, we should be able to memorize, at least have some memory of one or two things that we are going to do next or previously past, maybe in a week or in a month. We should have that understanding and be able to memorize what has happened or what we are we've just done, or what we are preparing to do. So the ability to adapt, ability to improvise, ability to overcome obstacles, and also ability to read very fast with emphasis, the ability to understand and memorize are key for us. Talk about two more critical skills now: the ability to manage our time. But before we go into that, the ability to walk away, let me put them down. The ability, we must have the ability to walk away. We must know what is good for us and what is not good for us, and ability to walk away is very good. We must be able to count our costs and the opportunity cost of being somewhere or not being somewhere, and the ability to just move on. Sometimes we need to move on from a profession. That is the truth. I've had a professional that moved on from the onset of a profession just because he observed the way the people that are in that profession, what their experience are, and it was like, I don't want to be part of this again. And he moved on. So the ability to move on, and for him to have moved on, by the time I met him in life, he was doing well, but he was telling me that actually he should have been in this so and so profession, but he observed so and so, and he walked away. So the ability to walk away is very important for us as professionals, as entrepreneurs, or as anybody that wants to actually further his course and move to excellence in life. We need to have the ability to walk away, and equally the ability to manage our time. Let's call it time management, which is very important. Ability to manage our time, prioritize what is important to us, have a schedule of our days or daily events, of our monthly events, of our yearly events, is then we can achieve greater results it has been established by research that those that actually have daily things they want to do, which we can call to-do lists, are actually greater performer. So it's good for us to manage our time by having what we want to do. I'm not actually saying we should have to-do lists or we should not have to-do lists. They are good if you can have it. They are very good. But at the back of our mind as professionals, as somebody that wants to move out in life and do well and perform excellently and receive the certificate of performance. For those that started with us now can tell us what the certificate of performance is. So you can put it on the comments. What is the certificate of performance that I just said? So to-do list, we can develop it, but you develop it or you did not develop it, let us develop the ability to manage our time. I could see that this video is going to be very long, so we are going to take it up from where we are going to stop now. The ability to stay optimistic, to stay positive, no matter the outlook of life at the moment. So we are going to pick it up from GJAMES Associate Channel. Gbenga Olatunji FCA has been speaking. Please like this video, comment, share, and don't forget to click the bell for all notifications so that next we are uploading, especially beginning from ability to stay optimistic, to stay futuristic, and to work towards with a positive attitude. You will be the first to be notified. From GJAMES Associate Channel, we have value to life, we have value to your businesses.